Free YNW Melly!
Or maybe not. That's what we're here to jump into today. For those who don't know, the Murder on My Mind rapper may have been writing about himself on that song, and not just playing a character. Melly is suspected of setting up two homies from the YNW crew in what was supposed to look like a drive-by. He's also under investigation for the passing of a sheriff in Florida. Melly's currently being held before his trial officially makes it to court, but according to him, he's not going to be in lockup too much longer. Does Melly actually have a shot at beating the cases he caught? Or is he just capping to keep the fans hyped up? We got all the answers right here, right now on Rizzle. For those who are still unaware of what went down, the story begins with YNW Bortlen, YNW Sack Chaser, YNW Juvie, and of course, Melly himself. After a long history of crime ranging from Grand Theft Auto to unlawful discharge of a firearm, Melly stepped his game up, and not in a good way. Melly and Bortlen allegedly framed this whole thing to look like a op had taken out Sack Chaser and Juvie. That would make sense and all if police and detectives hadn't found bullet holes from inside the vehicle. After the shooting took place, Bortlen drove the SUV to the hospital to pretend he cared about the well-being of the homies, but they passed away from their injuries that night. Who would suspect the people who drove the car to the hospital? Everyone, given the overwhelming amount of evidence against Bortlen and Melly. Well, if they hadn't shot from the inside of the car, it would have maybe been believable. Instead, the investigators pegged Melly and Bortlen for the crime pretty much immediately. After everything went down, it was Melly himself that decided to go ahead and give up the charade, more or less. He went down to the station to turn himself in. He then took to Instagram to talk about what happened from his own perspective. No, I did not get locked up in Washington, but I am turning myself in today. A couple of months ago, I lost my two brothers by violence, and now the system wants to find justice. Unfortunately, a lot of rumors and lies are being said, but no worries. God is with me and my brother YNW Bortlen, and we want y'all to remember, it's a YNW family. I love you. While Melly is still awaiting his trial, there have been some recent developments in the case. Instead of getting the book thrown at him, Bortlen was released on house arrest. Melly claims that things are going to go the same way for him, even though he's much more high-profile prisoner. Of course, the family of the victim had words to say about the situation. Bortlen originally got out on bond, only to have it revoked. After that, he was sentenced to spend some time in the ankle bracelet until his trial happens. Our family desperately awaits justice in the criminal and civil courts. These unprecedented times have left us with no control, but we expect the trials of Jamel Demons and Cortland Henry to occur in the near future, said a statement released by the lawyers of the family. What they're probably talking about there is the constant flurry of statements that have been released by Melly's PR team, since he's super cocky about how he's going to beat the case. Melly's also been helping with the production of a new album over the phone from jail. Melly's new album, Just a Matter of Slime, dropped on August 13th of 2021, and according to multiple sources, he was putting work in while he was in jail. He's been calling people left and right, securing features from various rappers, tweaking the production with sound engineers, and generally doing the most to make sure the album's where he wants it to be. Melly managed to get features from some pretty big names too, from Lil Uzi Vert, Kodak Black, and Lil Durk the Future. It wasn't without a cost though. He got hit with 2 civil lawsuits by the families of the victims who claim that he's making a mockery of the deaths of their sons by talking all sorts of big game about how he didn't commit the crime. According to the lawyer for the 2 families, in a wrongful death such as this, no amount of money will make the family whole or make the family happy. But that's the way the civil justice system works. They've been fighting tooth and nail to make sure that their children get the respect and justice that they deserve after their untimely deaths. Melly also took to Instagram for a video to celebrate the release of his new album.
Yeah, hey man, it's your boy YNW Melly, and I want y'all to go stream my new album in Just a Matter of Time right now.
Melly risked it all just to drop the new album, and as a result, it's pretty likely we're not going to hear anything from him for a little while. But he said the whole thing was worth it for the chance to interact with fans. His album is called Just a Matter of Slime, and that's not the only hint he dropped at the fact that he thinks he's getting out. He also claimed that he's about to head out of the joint shortly while on his Instagram video, but we aren't quite so sure. A lot of Twitter thinks he's getting out too, but it's probably just wishful thinking. He did hit number 1 on iTunes, but according to critics, that's most likely the last time he's going to chart anywhere. He's also really milking the whole album, dropping tons of merch. While he did some decent numbers and got some good features, it's not likely that his album is going to be the one that puts him over into the mainstream. We also need to talk about how the album cover has a literal pair of snakes on the cover. 2 separate snakes. Could he maybe be confessing? Talking about himself in Portland? Or is he trying to accuse Sack Chaser and Juvie of being snakes? We don't really know what the motive was here, so it could go either way. Not to be one-sided about this whole thing or anything like that, but if all of it is true, and Melly really is the one to blame, then smoking the homies like that really isn't cool. It's not like that's even a controversial take. While Sack Chaser and Juvie could have been in some sort of mess, we truly don't know. Maybe we'll get a little more context to the situation once the actual trial happens. We also got to talk about the opening verse of the album, which relates to Melly's demonic alter ego, Melvin.
He said that he would take control of me. The devil got a hold of me.
Now, he could obviously be talking about the ops here, but him talking about demons inside of him, that's not about an op. That's about someone who wouldn't do something that Melly wanted and they got hit for it. The whole multiple personalities thing he's on also doesn't make it any less believable that he'd go out of his way to put some of his friends in the dirt. It's also not like people are going to view him as some type of martyr or anything like that. While he does have YNW features on the new project, we can't imagine tons of people are going to work with him after this. He didn't die young or anything like that. He's not getting immortalized as some sort of hero for the rap game. He got locked up for snaking on his own. And that's not a good look wherever you go. Sure, he didn't snitch on his whole crew like 6ix9ine did, but regardless, how are you about to work with somebody like Melly? Bro literally came in and jumped his own crew, and as far as we can tell right now, it could have been for something as simple as Juvie and Sack Chaser looking at him funny. The mad disrespect to the family has no chill either. The fact that Melly had probably been around the family and their house and all that, and then goes and does that to their kids is beyond out of pocket. The whole situation is whack. Then he has the balls to get on live talking about how he's just gonna walk, get out of there with all that. Man, that's crazy. But what do y'all think though? Is Melly actually about to get released from jail? Is this whole thing a good look for him when his trial hasn't even happened yet? We can't imagine that he's in a good spot. But we want to know your thoughts. Let us know down in the comments. Smash that like and subscribe to get more rap news injected straight into your subscription feed. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, don't forget to keep it RZA.